with another preferred etiquette coach right here, Mrs. Alice Muhirwa. Alice is a very passionate advocate of civility, just like myself. She's a personal development coach with very many years, over 10 years experience in coaching, and she has sat on different boards from corporate to diplomatic positions. She's trained a lot of people, young women, women and young women on their own personal development and brand growth. Today, we are delighted to have her, and she will be navigating the discourse on the topic, etiquette and femininity. We're basically going to be talking about how and why you should embrace your femininity as a woman. Welcome once again, Alice.
Thank you so much, Eti. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. Alice, I always like to begin with asking what your own, by your own, personal experience, what etiquette is. What does etiquette mean to you? Because, etiquette has very many definitions. Yeah. So to you personally, what is etiquette?
I would say it's a set of expected, accepted rules and behavior that governs a community or a society. But I want to add that it is being more intentional on how you behave around people.
Beautiful. I like that. It's about being intentional about how you behave when you're around other people. Because the truth is, we don't really care what you do in your own personal space. It's not a problem to anybody else. But when you are around other people, being intentional, being mindful is very important, because you shouldn't be a reason why another person suddenly, loses confidence in themselves or becomes uncomfortable because of your own disposition. Thank you very much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So now today we are discussing etiquette and femininity. Now you have defined for us what etiquette means to you. Let us really understand, because the moment we make mention of that word, femininity, I think different impressions come to different people. So what really is femininity?
In my own terms?
Right, in your own terms.
Okay, femininity in my own terms is to accept you are divine nature as a woman and honor it with your behavior, with your attitude, with your being.
To accept your divine nature as a woman and honor it with your being, your disposition. So what is this divine nature?
Your divine nature, that you are a soft nature, that you are born and meant to multiply, to extend grace and kindness. You are a multiplier. That means your main role as a woman, your main role as a lady was to make things better.
I love that. That's beautiful. I hope you all got that. Please send in your questions, send in your comments and contributions. We'll be reading them out as we go. She said femininity, but for what I've grasped from that, is accepting your own nature as a woman, which means that you are graceful, you are soft, you are delicate. I will rather replace that word soft with delicate, because it won't sit very well with some women. What do you mean I'm soft? But I think being delicate is more acceptable, you understand. And she also said you are a multiplier. Everything that comes to you grows. Things grow. Things are nurtured and they blossom around you. That is beautiful. So who is a feminine woman?
A feminine woman is a woman who has that knowledge and acts accordingly and navigate in her being and carry grace with herself. Of course, there's that element of etiquette as well. And understand and accept her flaws and still work in a limitless manner.
That's awesome. I hope you all heard that. I have to be taking notes as well. Pardon me if you see me looking down. I'm taking notes because this is a handful. Thank you so much. I hope you all heard that. Please send in your comments. I would like to see that you're all following the conversation. Alice, you as someone, I specifically chose you, we as a team chose you to speak on this topic because we see you're very passionate about the subject matter, femininity. And just this morning, I read a post you shared where you were talking about your personal journey, your personal experience, and, you know, the relationship between childhood trauma and femininity. So I would like you to share a little bit on that, if you don't mind. Your personal experience, you know.
I don't mind. When I say that I embraced etiquette on my journey toward healing and femininity, people don't grasp it so much. But when I grew up with so many adversities as an orphan who happened to lose your beloved parent at a very young age as a firstborn, and I was on my defense mode all the way through teenagehood, my first time into dating. I'm even sometimes I really pity my exes because they had to deal with a lot of things. So I was a masculine woman. I knew there was nothing that is going to come my way that is soft, that is tender. So life was hard from the beginning. And I never had those attitude of manners, of being soft, of being graceful, being kind to myself or toward others, because life was hard for me at a very young age. There was an event that happened to me when I was a child, that time when I was 13. I was carrying my young sister. She was sick. She had pneumonia within that genocide event. So I never had enough things to cover her. I didn't know what to do at 13. And she just died in my hands and I felt helpless. I felt bad, that sense of guilt of feeling that she died because you fell asleep. She died because you didn't take care of her. That sound kept on with me even when I became a mother. When I became a mother and my child happened to get sick or to fall sick, I could not blink, I could not sleep, because there's that sense of guilt that Bichette, my sister used to be called Bichette, Bichette died because you didn't focus, because you are careless, because you didn't do this, because you didn't do that. Those soft whispering in your ear. So when my kid falls sick, I could not sleep. When my kids were not able to sleep, I was always that guilty of that. So until I happened to dig down, and when I was working on my femininity, I came to find that that was a childhood trauma. That was a childhood wound that I had. I kept even sometimes dreaming about my mother coming to quarrel me that, why did you sleep? And those hallucinating things, they are there because your subconscious is engaged. Your subconscious is still accusing you that you sister. Probably someone else, it's something that happened to them between them and their parents. Childhood wounds differ from a person and a person, but they really have big impact on how we carry ourselves as women.
Alice, thank you so much for sharing that. That story is so deep. Thank you for sharing. Enkalada is sending you hugs. I'm sending you hugs as well.
Thank you.
Such a personal experience, but I am so happy with how you have grown and how you have embraced the experience and allowed yourself to be transformed by it. And not just ending there, but helping other people to also overcome their own childhood traumas, which is affecting their personality as they have evolved into adults. Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
So I would like to also ask, if you don't mind, at what point did you come to that recognition that there was a relationship between your inability to accept or to embrace femininity and the childhood trauma that you had? Was there a particular event? Did something happen that made you realize that this is actually what I was dealing with? Because a lot of people will like to know how exactly their childhood experiences or whatever trauma it is they have. Maybe it wasn't during childhood, it could have been in their teenage years or early adulthood, but they would like to know the relationship between that and their current ways of handling situations, especially in the issues of emotions, emotional intelligence. So in your case, at what point did you come to that recognition?
I would think in your femininity journey, you will still have to sit down and see, what do I resist most? And I came to notice that there are some things I used to resist in my journey that I was not eager to accept. I used to admire women who are put together, who know how to carry themselves with grace, who dress impeccably, who keep their home in an elegant manner, who ooze elegance in their behavior and speech. But I would think, like, I admire them from afar, that this can't be me. This is too soft for me. I can't. Because you are molded in that you have already created a vacuum, a spectrum of hardship. You think that's your home. You think that's what you can be only. So you resist anything that takes you to softness. So once you acknowledge that, actually what I admire, I can also become. And once you know the how is when you say, oh, but how? What is my entry point? From where should I now start working on becoming more feminine? In my situation, I started by a frustrating point, that why everything about my life has to be hard? Why do I have to work hard? Why do I have to date hard? Why do I date emotionally unavailable partners? Why do I have to do the most in every relationship? This is not necessarily love relationship. I happen to also recognize that in my friendships, I'm the one who was doing the most. I'm the one checking on friends. I'm the one organizing birthday. I'm the one organizing baby showers for cousins. I'm the one organizing parties for friends, for families. I'm the to-go-to person. And when I need people, how come this love is not reflexive? Why is it not coming back to me? So there was a lot of work to do on myself in terms of boundaries, in terms of people pleasing, in terms of recognizing my space, in terms of actually accepting that not all people who are surrounding me meant love, to understand necessarily what do you deserve as a human being.
Network. I think there was a little network glitch. If you would like to take just the last sentence again.
Oh, yeah, we lost you sometime. I don't know. Where should I start from? We are losing you. We are losing you at some point. I don't know if you really captured what I said.
I did at some point, but I think my network, there was a bit of a glitch, but it's okay. As far as the audience can hear, I'm okay with that.
Okay, great. So I was saying that at some point, you have to have a sit down with yourself and really track your life and see, am I happy where I am? What is going on that I'm not happy about? Is this the only thing I can be? And once you have that sit down with yourself and become more genuine with yourself, because you can't lie to yourself and say, I need to work through these things. Being somebody with a mathematic background, I like to get my figures right. So if you see you are really invested in people and you don't see that relationship coming back, when you see the relationship is one way, it has to be questionable. You have to question it. And once you do, then you will find the reasons why your relationship are always one way forward, and work on that to make sure that you also receive. Because in your femininity, in your feminine nature, you are meant to receive. That's what I can share.
Thank you so much. That is a lot you have shared. I believe that so many of us are struggling with this same thing without actually understanding what it is that we're dealing with.
Yes.
A situation where you're giving out so much love, but there is still a vacuum deep inside because you do not feel that being reciprocated by the people in your life. And you have to come to that point where you have to have that conversation with yourself and come true to you with yourself and ask why these things are going on. Thank you very much for sharing that. And in your explanation, you actually touched on the very next question I would like to ask you, which is, you know, many women who are independent, who are hardworking, and maybe successful or still on their journey to becoming successful in whatever their endeavor is, they kind of struggle with accepting favors from people, because it feels like, okay, if I accept favors, it's going to show that I am weak. Do you understand? Does it have anything to do with struggling with accepting their femininity? Or what? What could be the cause of that? Why do some women struggle with accepting favors from people?
It could be two things. It could be, number one, that self-sufficient ego, knowing that I have it all together. If a man comes to my life, he's not bringing anything positive. He's just the presence. So I can afford everything that I have. But when you look at it deeply, it is a masculine shield so that they don't get hurt. So you're already anticipating failure, or you are already anticipating rejection. So for you to not get hurt, you shield yourself by saying that, I don't get gift for men. Because when a man is bringing their advances, they're looking for a catch. You're always looking after that. Oh, what is the end game here? What is the catch? So in that way, you don't easily accept reception. So you anticipate rejection, you anticipate negative things. In that way, you shield yourself. But when you shield, of course, you will block even good wishes. Not necessarily, it is really an unnecessary step. It's not. When you are afraid, or when you operate from fear or from trauma, you magnify assumptions. Everything for you is big. Every man is bad. Don't trust men. Men are rubbish. Men are that. Those negative thoughts that are really not necessary. You can experience good love. You can experience attention. You can experience care if you really are open for it. So I would say those women, sometimes they do as a defense mechanism, or it's because they lack manners and etiquette. Because sometimes manners and etiquette also govern us as ladies to accept compliments. You will hear someone who is masculine even struggle to receive a compliment by saying, Eti, I like your lipstick. For a masculine woman, she would take an offense on that, say, this man why is it so sexual? Why is it looking at my lips? Why is it? But for a woman who has embraced her femininity, would take it with grace and say, thank you so much. You're so kind. And that is simple. So shielding yourself toward, because you don't want to get hurt, can really hinder good relationships.
This is powerful. Are you sure we're not going to have another session for this? I wish a lot more people were listening, because I never even looked at it in that light, that your inability to accept compliments can also come from a place of a masculine shield, because you don't want to get in touch with your delicate side. You don't want to get in touch with, that part of you that actually radiates that charm, because there is something charming about you as a woman that attracts those compliments. Your inability to accept it is by saying, no, I'm not that person that you're seeing, even though we can see that person. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And simple example is that when someone tells you that, oh, Etty, you are so sweet, you are a very nice woman, but it takes time to really know you. It's another sign that you are a masculine woman. What you portray, you are portraying that you are portraying your masculine shield, but inside you are so sweet, you're so nice, you are like a coconut fruit. When we see a coconut fruit, we think there might be a very strong seed inside, until we break it and it is just juicy and watery and good to see and good to experience. So a masculine woman who protects herself in her masculine shield, I would compare her to a coconut fruit.
Thank you. That is an appropriate comparison, because on the inside is still a very sweet, delicate, and delicious person, but on the outside there is a brick wall that you have to break before getting into meeting that person. Now let me ask you, a lot of women who would rather be masculine would have a lot of reasons to defend why they are rather masculine. Why should I allow people to get into my soft side when at the end of the day I could get hurt, right? So they can defend that mechanism, that defense mechanism that they put, that facade they put on of masculinity or toughness, just because they're trying to protect who they are on the inside. So can you please share, in your opinion and experience, why it actually is important for women to embrace their femininity? Why must you make that paradigm shift in your head and realize that as a woman, you must embrace your femininity? You can only become a better woman by being feminine. Just throw more light on that.
What I don't do in my coaching, I don't spoon feed femininity. I just tell you what I benefited and how it benefited my clients and other people that I know for sure embraced femininity in their journey and benefited from it. At the end of the day, everyone make their personal choices to follow it or not to. But in my journey, let me just share like 7 points. Only 7. The list is many, but I can share only like 7 points. Number one thing that I got by embracing femininity was clarity on my journey, clarity on my purpose as a woman. You might find that you're doing so many things at a time, you are really hardworking in your journey or in your profession, but you don't have that contentment. Everyone congratulates you that you are a good leader, you have good turnout, or you really bring out your to-go-to person in your office, but in your heart, you don't have satisfaction, you don't have contentment in whatever you do. So your life doesn't have a purpose per se. Embracing femininity brought much clarity into my life, brought much purpose in my life, and satisfaction. When I help other women to grow, I feel satisfied. And to me, that is priceless. There is no amount of money that I can seek for to bring me that contentment. Number two, I am more conscious than before of who I am as a human being. That my role, my divine role on this earth, and my personal commitment toward family, toward society, toward my partner, toward my children, it brought more consciousness in what I do as a human being. Number three, embracing femininity made me realize and embrace other talents that I didn't know that I had. For a very long time, I locked myself into an introvert who doesn't know how to speak, who doesn't know how to talk to people. I went to do mathematics and statistics because I didn't want to deal with people. And when I embraced femininity, which took me to do etiquette, I felt that I had a passion of teaching that I didn't know that I had until I discovered that. That's why I think God made us as multipliers. When you work into refining one aspect of yourself, it helps you discover other many things that you didn't know that you had. Embracing femininity made me like a simplified life. I stopped being a chaser of success, of money, of, those things that other people chase that really, when you look at them in deep down, they don't mean anything. They don't mean growth. They don't mean a holistic growth. Embracing femininity made me realize there are better ways to make a living, doing the things that you love the most, having plenty time at your plate for your children, for your pets, for your plants, and also earn money and claim your worth. Embracing femininity also brought joy into my life when I had to deal with my flaws, my insecurities, the things that I fear the most, being graceful toward myself, accepting that I can't make it all. There are things that I will fail. There are things that I will try to do. There are things that I will not be able to solve, and seek help. Are we not going to pretend that I got everything right? And accepting that I need help and voicing my help. Another thing that I benefited from embracing femininity is the sensual part. Accepting that I can be a playful woman at 40. I can play with my children, play with my partner. I can be soft. I can run around. I can dance. I can, name it. It brought joy and softness in my life. I don't have to be off in my guard like this all the time, talking serious things. No, I just have to also allow my flow to calm down. I embraced femininity and really connected, enjoy the way I connect to people and the way things come easily to my life because I became more radiant, effortlessly connecting to people. In our alumni, we are so many people, but I didn't come to you. You came to me. There is something that you saw that you connected to. And that's how I usually get most of my clients. So isn't it sweet to live a lifestyle such as that? Which woman who wants really to be a donkey all the time? All the time. Femininity has many things that is going to help you if you want to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have shared so many points, and I was just smiling on through because a lot of things you shared resonated with me personally. Some other things I have personally experienced in my journey towards personal refinement. I could really understand and relate with some of the points that you shared. And I think if I'm to put everything you have said into one word, I would say that femininity helps you become a more confident version of yourself, because in every aspect of your life you became more confident. Because the truth is, you cannot become a better man than a man is if you're a woman. You can only become the best woman that you can become, the best version of yourself, which is a woman, a very feminine woman. So trying to be anything other than that, what your nature is going to be a journey of struggle all through your life. You will be struggling all through your life, rather than just relaxing and being taken care of. Like, that's a popular slang here in Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now the ladies right here who are also on this journey of personal development and trying to build more on build their femininity more, would like to know, what are the day-to-day things that a woman can do to be more in touch with her feminine side? What are the things that we can begin to do to help us become more feminine, to exude more of that feminine grace and elegance in the way that we carry ourselves?
Wow, I like that. I cannot exhaust every entry step, but what I can advise them to do, I offer a free journaling prompt that is going to help you jumpstart that femininity in you. All you need to do is to just give me a DM, a simple DM that's, hey, shifted me, or prompt, or femininity, something like that, to prompt a conversation. And then I give you that. It's a free 6 days journaling prompt to help you jumpstart that femininity in you. It is going to help you, number one, to realize, to visualize, how do I consider myself? Do I consider myself as a feminine woman or as a masculine woman? And why? What do I think I deserve? What do I think I am capable of achieving? What do I think my dating experience looks like? What do I attract in life? When I mean attract, it's not just into love partners. I also attract opportunities, business, growth, friends, circles. All that is well pre-designed for you, but you can only reach what you can believe you can reach. So if you need such a prompt for journaling, I really love journaling because it is an internal conversation with yourself, with your mindset. And then once you have worked and realized that you really need serious help, that's when I come in. But I want you to have that conversation with yourself first. So DM me if you need the prompts, then I will immediately drop a link for you to have the free prompts. Once you have worked on those free prompts, we can pick it up from there.
Are you saying, Alice just keeps giving? I didn't know there was going to be a freebie in today's episode. So please, if you're interested in this prompt she's talking about, just go to her DM. Be sure to follow her. Yeah. Send her a DM and she'll send you this prompt. I am also going to send you that DM because I want mine as well.
Yeah. No problem.
Okay. And for all of you here, if you're not following us at Etiquette with Eti Academy, please make well to do that. We're finishing school based in Abuja, Nigeria, but we have been able to work with people from around the world. We've had students who graduated from all the continents of the world, except maybe I wouldn't even say Oceania. We've had someone from Australia in the past. So yes, we've been around the entire globe, and we would be happy to take you on your journey of personal development. We have series of courses and also products that you can, resources that you can leverage on to work on yourself at your own pace. So do well to follow us, send us a DM, and we will be happy to receive you. We'll be happy to listen to you, even if it's just a consultation, and see how we can be of help. Alice is joining us all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. She's been doing amazing on this journey of coaching and helping people become better versions of themselves. You can reach out to her if you're in Kenya and you want to have a one-to-one training. She's the person that you can go to. Besides being colleagues in the industry, we're actually also both what's the plural for alumni? Whatever. We are alumni of the British School of Excellence,
yes.
And we've all been to the institution where we've had the best when it comes to etiquette and refinement. So you can be sure that you are in good hands if you work with any of us. So make sure you're following her if you're not, and make sure you're following us at Etiquette with Etty Academy as well. Thank you so much, Alice, for all the amazing things that you have shared. As usual, we don't really like the live to last too long because this is working hours and some people just have to breeze in and, you know, steal some time from their work hours to be here.
Yeah.
So we'll try as much as possible to wrap up very quickly. But just before we wrap up, I would also like to ask you, at what age do you think that a lady should begin to work on her personal refinement and consciously embrace her femininity? Is there a particular age or stage in life that someone should do that? What are your thoughts on that?
In my opinion, I do advise ladies to start engaging at teenagehood, because the teenagehood is so complex in behavior, in biological growth, psychology. So it's good for a lady to start embracing femininity as her body grows, and having the right mindset at a very young age. It is going to limit her to fall into dating mistakes, into behaviors that are going to undermine her future. Because sometimes there are ladies who carry themselves like boys, or like the tomboys ones at a young age, and it hinders their career choices, their school choices, their university options. But when you have that ladylike behavior at a very young age, you're more likely to nurture femininity and mold a very wonderful executive when you grow up.
Thank you very much. And talking about that, you know very well that self-consciousness doesn't really set in for most people at a very young age, because you're just at a time where you're exploring things and you're mostly guided by what you see. So you haven't gotten to that point where you have personally experienced enough to realize that, no, this isn't working for me. You know, for some people, that consciousness, that realization comes to them much later. It could be for some people in their 40s, in their 50s, and even 60s. You know, some women, it gets, well, you can't really say it's late for anyone whenever they want to begin their journey, but it would have been better if they started earlier. So in this case, how would you advise people who observe that the people in their lives, it could be their sisters, it could be their girlfriends, it could be a cousin, or just any girl that they are concerned about? How would you advise people to politely and in an acceptable way intervene if they
I lost you again. But I would say that you can politely approach them. Yes. You can.
Okay, I think you lost me for a minute, right? So I was asking, how would you advise someone who people who notice that some people in their lives are struggling with this personality issue? How would you advise them to intervene, maybe in form of an advice or whatever? How would you advise people to be a source of support? And sometimes, mostly the men, How would you advise them to politely, rightfully support a woman who is struggling with accepting her femininity at an early enough stage so that it's not too late? She wouldn't have made too many mistakes while growing up before realizing that, oh, I really didn't need to toe that path. What would you say?
I would suggest that we start having a positive attitude towards them and speaking about the benefits of becoming a feminine lady, not necessarily bashing their behavior and their attitude. Another thing is to gift them sessions with a coach. If you are in Nigeria, gift her that today, your birthday gift, you're going to have a sit down with Coach Eti for lunch or for dinner, or she's coming over home to review your closet and, help you embrace femininity, decency, and all that. It is our responsibility to carry the positive influence where we live, with our siblings, with our cousins, with our nephew, with our niece. Give them that capacity, that package of this is what you will benefit if you see that. Suggest to them the people they can follow, the movie they can watch. You can gift them books. We all have this soft ego of not really wanting people to comment about our mistakes. So don't go to them directly that you should sit well, you should dress well, you should do that. Behave like a lady, look the way you're sitting. No, but you should now demonstrate to them what you admire in others and then give them that motivation.
Thank you so much. In fact, with that, we can just say we are done for the day. I really love the way you answered that question, because it is very important for us to be emotionally sensitive to people. Like she had earlier explained, for those who had joined earlier, women who are struggling with embracing their femininity most times just have to put on that facade as a defense mechanism because of sometimes the things they have dealt with in the past or the things they are afraid to deal with in an attempt to prevent themselves from being hurt. So a person who is already struggling emotionally needs some level of love and tolerance and, femininity in the approach that you want to address them. You shouldn't rub their challenges on their faces, but you can find more subtle ways of communicating that to them. And she advised you could buy them gifts. You could suggest movies that, they can watch. By the time they watch it, they will pick the lessons that you want them to pick from such movies. I think that's a very polite and indirect way of actually communicating that. Recommending a series of movies that speaks to the same thing. I really like that point. And she said you can set them up on a date with Lady Etty or Coach Alice, and that's another way of letting them know that, okay, this is someone I'd like you to mirror without directly telling them, I don't like the way you sit, I don't like the way you walk, I don't like the way you talk, you should do it this other way. Then you should know that you're going to bruise the person's ego and they might become even more defensive in their response.
I would add an example there. There is a client of mine who came to me telling me that she's a single parent. She has two amazing children, teenagers, are 17 and 15. 17 is a girl and 15 is a boy. And she was really in the midst of challenges where she was unable to mold that feminine part in the girl, and she was seeing the tendency of the boy to want to become like a lady. So she said, I'm in trouble here. I really need your assistance to these two girls. And the kids were eager to learn and grow and say, anything from someone else we will take, but from you, mama, no. And why sometimes our children resist from learning from us? Sometimes it's because probably you don't have that gravitas as a mother. You don't have that power to instill a knowledge, especially in an area where you're not excelling. So if you are not a woman who is that feminine, it will be so hard to instill femininity in your own daughter. If you're not a woman who is so good in elegance, in good manners, in etiquette, it will be so hard to command that authority if you know for sure it's not in your practice. So that's why it's important to really hire coaches. We managed to see these two beautiful children coming back to where we wanted them to be by hiring a coach, which was going to be a journey probably that is going to be more long if they were to partake that journey with their own parents. So I encourage people to consult professionals. If you know you want your kids or your nephew or your niece to have a certain behavior or a certain result in their behavior and attitude, feel free to consult with Eti or myself or any coach in your proximity to help you structure a strategy. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alice. For those of you who might just be joining, we're just about to wrap up today's session. It's been very insightful. She has shared so much on why it is important to embrace your femininity as a woman, why you're probably resisting embracing your femininity or just being feminine as a woman, and why you should embrace your femininity. And she's also added that she has a prompt that she is happy to share. If you slide into her DM and request that femininity prompt, she'll be able to share it with you. I mean, even the gentlemen can request it and share it with the ladies in their lives who they want to become more feminine. This conversation is important to women as much as it is important to men, because they also need to know what they can do to help women become more feminine and not to try to put on that facade of masculinity that does us no good. Thank you so much, Alice. It was very delightful to have you here. And even though some people are just joining, unfortunately, we have to be wrapping up because some people have been here with us since noon. We will try to save this video and to share it after so that people who couldn't join the live session can watch the video and still learn from. Alice, it was lovely to have you. I'm so happy that you were able to create the time to be here with us, and we hope to have you back some other time.
Thank you so much, Coach Eti. It was my pleasure to share love and knowledge with your platform. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. And until next time, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The coach was amazing. And like I said earlier, don't forget to request the prompts that she's spoken about from her. And do well to follow us as well. Follow her on her Instagram, Coach Alice. And also follow us, Etiquette with Eti, on Instagram. You can also follow my personal account. The Lady Eti also share tips there that could benefit you in your journey of personal development. Look out for more. This is going to be a weekly series, and we are hopeful to continue to bring you content that will be beneficial to you. For now, I have to say goodbye until next time. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.